six figures or even seven figures yet online with an offer? If the answer is no, then you definitely want to tune in to today's live coaching with BA and my man Praise. And we're gonna be going over everything that you need to have a multiple six figure, multiple seven figure offer. I'm not missing my words. Ask me how I know because I've done it. Okay. All right. And I'm gonna show you how to do it. All you got to do is stay locked in. By the way, if this is feeding you, we just ask that you share it with somebody else so that it could feed them as well. And Praise, welcome, bro. What's up, man? How we doing?
Man, I'm doing good. I just always love having these conversations, man. Like the post you just made. It really is a miracle, bro. Like I come in here every day just excited. Like I didn't know this is how a miracle looked like. I didn't know that, it isn't a microwave miracle at that, but bro, it is just so fulfilling. And every time I come in these calls and it's just the preparation to it, the hype to it. I feel like it's like I talk to like my celebrity every day. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
So
stop it,
it's
man.
cool, bro.
Stop it.
I'm honored. So yeah, man, I'm excited and yeah, I'm ready to do it. Let's do it.
All right. So what we got? Where you want to start with the offer?
Oh man. All right. So I want to tell you how it actually came about, right? So I was just looking over the offer that I had from Crippled to Confidence, right? And I was like, okay, this is a good offer, but I was like, I need it to be really irresistible. Like when I present it, I want it to be like, yo, that's exactly what I need right now, right? And one thing that you've shown me that is we're gonna transition right into the offer after I tell you, but one thing that you've shown me is that everything you've done, you've had your mind made up.
Mm,
Everything you've done, you've had a singleness in mind. So I
mm,
was like, okay. And I was sitting there getting downloads, and I was like, I want to make this offer it's called Indecisive to Influential. And I'm helping people break out of that tug of war, of that double-mindedness that they're
mm.
struggling with, where they like they comfort and they hate they call in, or they on that pendulum of just greatness and comfort, right? So I was thinking about that, and I'm like, that's what everybody, my niche, is struggling with, is that double-mindedness to either go or to they want the future but they love their familiar, right? So you'll never get there if you're too busy, comforting or babysitting your familiar. So that's my offer now. It's called From Indecisive to Influential, and I'm helping my clients get a payoff. The transformation is that they'll stop playing tug of war with their calling, and they'll take bold and consistent steps in the direction of their destiny. So
Strong, 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 strong. Everybody give it up for Praise. Put some flames in the chat. So the previous offer was, tell me that one. What was that?
crippled the confidence.
From crippled to confidence. This
Yeah.
one is from indecision,
Indecisive to influential.
indecisive to influential. I
Yeah.
like that. I
Yeah.
like that, bro. It's very simple language.
Yeah.
Um, it's a clear word picture, right? If you want to go from being indecisive to influential, this is what you got to do, right? That indecisiveness is still crippling everybody. I'm indecisive about what content I'm gonna post. I'm indecisive about making this phone call. I'm indecisive, and
Come
Scripture
on.
tells us that a house divided against itself can't stand.
Come on.
So we got to eliminate the double-mindedness. And you brought up a good point that I am. I'm sure about the moves I make.
Yeah.
That don't mean they always the right ones. That don't mean they always turn out the right way. But I'm operating in surety when I make it though.
Yes. 100%.
And that's what we got to be able to do. We got to be okay as business owners, as entrepreneurs, to commit to what we feel is right, regardless of the outcome. And then what I like to say is that then you got to go and plan, do, and review. You plan it, you do it, you review it. So you planned it, you do it, and you like, oh, maybe that wasn't quite the right move, right?
Yeah.
You go back, you recalibrate, you learn something from it, and then you go make it better the next time you deploy. So, yeah, that's all good stuff. Now, the thing that I do have a little bit of questions around is the
Okay.
payoff. Is the payoff piece. So, tell me a
Oh,
little bit more about the payoff.
okay. So what I wrote for here is that you'll stop playing tug of war with your calling and start moving like someone who's already chosen. Or I was gonna say you stop playing tug of war with your calling and take bold and consistent steps in the direction of your destiny. So, but yeah, this is why I'm bringing it to you to revamp it. But man, I sat down with this and just went all in. I already got the 4 stages. And once we get past the payoff, I'll name all my 4 stages and the names. But yeah, man, like I was really like I need an irresistible offer to where when I say this, because when I bring up double-mindedness, you're gonna be like that's something you're struggling with every day, and then that's why I can transition after you get out of the double-mindedness. You're gonna struggle with confidence. Now I have the offer from crippled to confidence, right? So now the domino is gonna start rolling. But this was like I needed a home run hitter for the first offer because like I felt like the crippled to confidence. It was a good offer, but it wasn't a great one, right? For my first one. So I wanted something where it's like when I present, indecisive to influential, like the tagline going, and I'm thinking of a couple of taglines, but like one of them is like, you're one decision away from having your God-given global influence, right? Like literally you're one, so.
Yeah. So here's the thing, right? And just for
Talk
everybody
to me.
that's watching, there's 3 aspects to every offer. Okay. And I think I may have mentioned this last week. If not, I'm gonna say it again anyway. You have to be very clear about where you are picking your ideal client up from. And then you have to be abundantly clear about where you drop them off at. The destination by which you drop them off is their payoff. And then the offer, which we're about to get into next, the content of the offer is the process, it's the steps on how to get there. Okay, those are the 3 elements in any irresistible offer. So as I'm hearing Praise talk about, so he's picking them up from indecision, right? So
Yeah.
we got a clear pickup place, and then the drop off is influence. You're moving them from a place of being indecisive into a place of being influential. But it's not incorrect, but it's incomplete.
Mm,
The question is, what happens to their life as a result of getting the influence? That's the payoff.
mm,
The payoff is whatever happens to their life as a result of getting the influence. So if I'm an aspiring business owner, who that's your target avatar, and I'm stuck in this position of indecision, and without praise, I can't get to the place of influence, which my influence influences my bank account. Did y'all hear what I just said? My influence influences my bank account.
it's good.
So there's actually some type of monetary value from me going from a place of indecision to influential if I'm an aspiring business owner. So when you calculate the payoff needs to describe the dream of a life that they get to live as a result of going through this process.
Mm,
And so I think it would behoove you to just come up with just a list, right? I don't even want to overcomplicate it. Just a list of what are the things that happen in their life as a result of getting the influence that they desire,
okay. Most
right?
definitely. Yeah.
And 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 keep it clean, right? Like very simple. Like, look, okay, so if you're in the process of starting your business, you're struggling with picking out logos, you're struggling with what content you're gonna post, you're struggling with this, you're struggling with that. I help you get clarity on that, and now you actually start taking action on these things. Your income, your influence increase, and as a result of that, you start making money. So let's just say, tangibly speaking, that gets you to a place where you start to make consistent $5,000 a month. Which, by the way, means what? That you need to understand the appetite of your avatar. You need to understand not only are they aspiring business owners, but in what sectors, right? Like who specifically can I talk to? Because the more specific I am about who I'm talking to, the more specifically I can address their problem and their solution.
Mm,
Am I helping freelancers? Am I helping artists? Am I helping, um, you know, brick and mortar business owners? Like, who am I helping? Because there's going to be a tangible payoff for each one of those types of individuals in those various categories.
mm, that's good. So with that then, right, my niche is the aspiring business owners and the ages from 18 to 30. So what what would you suggest I narrow that down to be more specific? Because obviously, I'm doing a coaching business. Not everybody's doing that. Everybody has their own lane of business. So what would you suggest that I narrow that down to?
Who you feel more burdened to help?
Mm, that's a great question. Mm, that's tough. Because for me, the burden that I feel is just for those, it's broad, but that's why I want to narrow it down, because it's those that are like, they're not a this or that, they're a this and that, but they don't know how to tap into that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I do.
so I want to narrow that down, but I don't know the exact words, because like for me, I knew I was a this and that. I just didn't know. Like, my indecisiveness literally was like, do I do that? Do I not do that? But I need a specific name for that. I don't know the name. So yeah,
Yeah,
you could.
and even if you don't know the name, and we're gonna get to Chanel question here in a second. Even if you don't know the name, it's more of a function of knowing the traits,
Mm,
knowing the characteristics, knowing the qualms, right? So like right now in the season, I coach coaches, consultants, and experts, right? It really don't matter the industry. I know that I can help them make multiple six figures and multiple seven figures online.
mm,
Why? Because I've done it for myself and others. And as long as they implement the framework and the systems that we use, regardless of if they're already making a million, we can get them to 2 to 3, right? If they're already making six figures, if they making nothing, we can get them to where they making 10, 20, 30, 40, $50,000 a month if they implement, right? So it's it's more categorical, but because I've been a coach myself for 7 years, I also know all the burdens that, regardless of what industry that they're in, the challenges that they all gonna run into throughout that process.
mm,
I know they're gonna struggle with having an irresistible offer. I know they're gonna struggle in various forms of content. And if they are killing it with content, then they probably struggling on lead generation on the back end of that. And if they're killing on lead generation, maybe they're struggling on sales on the back end of that. There's for every solution, there's a new problem. And I've gone through the gauntlet of all of them enough to know that in my messaging, I can signal through my content with these various descriptions of these problems, and it's going to speak to the various avatars within the category of people that I'm serving.
mm.
So when I'm going through my content ideation and creation, I'm legitimately thinking of a person who don't necessarily exist in the physical, but they do in my mind in terms of what problem they're facing right now. And
Mm,
that's the problem I'm addressing in my content.
okay,
And then that person shows up and hear me talking to them.
it's good.
I say that to say you don't necessarily have to define it and end up confining it, but you do at least need to be able to think of the specificities of the type of people that's in this category so that you can speak to their problem and their payoff.
Mm,
Because the more that you can show a tangible representation of what their payoff is, people paying you with a measured amount of money. So if you can show them what measured success look like, then it only makes your offer more irresistible. Because now I'm not investing this and not knowing how I'm gonna get my money back. I'm investing this with somebody already giving me the visualization and the word picture of, if I improve this and I make this investment in myself, then I stand a chance of getting a return on this investment in the form of this. Because otherwise, like, why would you need influence if you ain't gonna monetize it,
yeah.
right? So Chanel asks, so payoff is the permanent change within them. Payoff is the transformation that you get them. Payoff is the transformation that you get them, right? So who they become as a result of your offer and what they're able to accomplish as a result of your offer. Okay. We got another question, P, and then we're gonna hop back in. Should our challenge name describe the present payoff? That's a great Question. Okay, your challenge should describe what they're really going to learn within that week. So our challenge, as an example, is purpose to profits. We're going to help you to align yourself with your purpose while showing you how to be extremely profitable during that week. We're going to show you how we've been able to have six-figure days, how our clients have six-figure days, um, and we're going to show you all of our various models as to how you can achieve that. Right? So when we say we're going to show you how to build out a 6 or 7 figure business at our Purpose to Profits challenge, we really do that at the challenge. Right? When I used to have my Keys to Freedom challenge, my real estate challenge, we show you how to build out a 6 or 7 figure business in 12 months using other people's money. At the Keys to Freedom challenge, I showed them exactly that. On day 2, I showed them how to build $1 million business 4 ways. So whatever the challenge name should match the promise that can happen in that week, not the promise of what will happen if they come along with you after the fact. Because sometimes people may hinge their challenge name to the payoff that somebody gets as a result of buying their offer after the challenge, right? Their mentorship program, their whatever. You want your challenge to actually be synonymous with what they'll get that week. Does that make sense, Candace? So I know I just laid it on you thick. What you thinking? I know you over there processing. Talk to me.
I'm going through just the list of the people that I want to help, that I have a burden to help.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just thinking about that because it in a way it expands my options and narrows it down at the same time. Like I know who I can talk to now in my content. I know who it's not for as well. I know how to
Mm.
signal them, right? So it just opened up a whole nother
You
bag.
gotta
And
go back. Hold up. Beep, beep, beep. But you gotta back up for just a second. You said, I know, say that, say what you just said again. I also know now who is not. Say that part.
yeah, I know who it is for. Now I know who it's not for,
That
because
part.
I was, it's easy to say this and it's like from indecisive to influential, and it could be for everybody wants influence. But for this specific type of influence, it's for people who's ready to steward it, who's ready to actually manage it, who's ready to put in the work and not just want a microwave miracle, right? You know what I'm saying? So now I can go down the list of who it's actually for so I can get rid of everybody who it's not for, right? Because I remember you said in the Purpose to Profits, if you're talking to everybody, you're talking to nobody, right?
Bingo.
So
Bingo.
now,
By the way, when I say those sticky statements and have those colloquialisms, it ain't to sound cool. I'm trying to state something in the sound bite so that you can remember it as Praise just did and say, if I'm talking to everybody, I'm talking to nobody. That really is true and it means something. And if you're talking to everybody, you're talking to nobody.
1000%, bro.
That's
So
a big
that's why
deal.
with this, I'm grateful that you even said that, because now, right, when I put the offer on my page and on my website, now I can be like, if you're X, Y, and Z, if you this, and that, if you this, and that, now they're gonna be like, yo, this is me, or I know I'm a this and that, or oh man, like I know I got an idea on the inside of me. I just don't know. So now I can really list that out. So it'll be easier for me to signal who actually wants this influence. Because the influence I'm talking about isn't influence to just have or to just for fun. This is influence to go into impact. Like if you want your influence to make impact, this is for you, right? So now I can go down that list, because if I was just like from indecisive to influential, it could be for anybody because everybody wants influence, but not everybody's ready to make impact from their influence.
Fact.
So yeah, that really just helped me just really sift all the weeds out, you know what I'm saying? Because this could have just been a vague offer, and not a specific offer. So I appreciate that. That's what I was just running through as you were answering those questions. I was like, yeah, like this has made the offer a whole lot better. So now I know who to
Bro,
signal and who not to
I'm telling
signal.
you, and I'm telling you why this is so important, man. I'm glad you brought this up. When you starting out in business, right, or it's in its infancy, or maybe you making 6 figures, right? You had this idea that I need more people, which is true, right? But you don't just need more people, you need the right people.
Mm,
So you had this idea that I don't want to exclude nobody, so I'm gonna cast my net as wide as possible. But having 1,000 people looking at something that they're not going to buy versus having 10 that will, you
Yeah.
much better off having that 10 than that 1,000. It's the difference between activity and productivity. They look very similar, but one is accomplishing something and the other one is not. And so it's having enough faith to go deeper with a few than to go shallow with many.
Mm.
Because that's all that happens. If you're talking to a lot of the wrong people, it's just staying at a shallow surface. And you got to deepen the immersion for the conversion. So you better off signaling to your tribe and to your people. And if it be 3 that show up, if it be 5 that show up, you better off going deeper with them 3 or 5 than the appearance of having 300 and there's only 3 to 5 buyers in the room.
Man, that's a word right there. Have faith to go deep with a few, man. And I'm grateful you even highlighted that, because I know everybody in business thinks about how many people and not the right people, right? Like, I was thinking about this offer and I'm like, so for this offer, I only have 10 spots, right? But I'd rather have 5 spots full of people who actually want to make this influence and impact with their influence than 10 people who just don't really care, and they just, they just trying to have influence and get the money and be lit or whatever the case may be. I want people who actually want to steward their influence to also steward their impact as well, right? Because any type of influence is impact, right? Right now, whoever's watching me, I'm having an impact on them, whether I like it or not, right? So it's the same thing about the people who I want to be in my offer and my coaching program. Is like, I don't want you to just get this influence to be an influential person. I want you to get this influence so you can be an impactful person, so you can actually make the change that God wants you to make, right? So I'm grateful that you just emphasized that, because like I said, like, even though I have 10 spots, I'll take 5. Right? If that's really what's going to get, if y'all going to take this serious, if you guys really want this influence to actually do what God has called you to do, then I'll take the 5, right? And I'm grateful that you said that, because it just gives me more reassurance in knowing that it's okay to go deep with the few, right? So
Watch this, P. Imagine I'm sitting in a room and you talking and it's 2 other people sitting next to me. And you in this room physically with me right now having a conversation, and I'm here for you.
mm,
But you talking to them. So the danger in that is that you actually missing the person who you're supposed to be talking to, because they don't feel like you're talking to them. So what would that person do that showed up to talk to you and all you did was talk to them? They would get up and leave. And that's what happened. People get
man,
up and leave your channel and they go find somewhere where they feel like the person talking to them.
man, that's good. That's good, B. Because I'm at a point where, even though, and this is what I'm grateful for, because I was thinking about this, and I was um as I was even looking at my Crippled the Confidence offer, there was a section where I was talking about detoxing from comparison, right? And I remember you said God makes you eat all of your sermons, bro. When I heard you say that, changed the way I looked at everything that I talk about now, because I know I'm going to get tested on it to make sure I'm I'm a man of integrity, right? So I can't be like, oh, lock in, and then God's like, okay, I need you to lock in now, and I'm not doing that, right? So I was thinking about that, and there were so many other people, right? I was looking at other stories, and people are like, oh, I finally found my purpose at age 27, at age 30. I'm grateful that I'm 23 going through this pruning. Like, I remember we talked last week, and you were like, go through this pruning now, because you don't want to get to where some of these people get to and go through the pruning then. It's even worse when you have what you feel like you want and have, and then you're going through pruning, right? And I was thinking about that, and I'm like, yo, I'm grateful I'm going through this refinement now. So by the time I get there, I'm not like, dang, I got to start from square one, right? Because a lot of people gonna get to that level of achieving those things and then have to start at square one, have to be like faith 101, prayer class 101. Like they're going to have to go through that because they didn't do it now. So I'm thinking about, you know, how I'm talking about this offer and all these things that we're doing. And I'm like, yo, this is such a blessing that I can get this refinement now. So by the time I get into business and I'm really, because I'm already in it, it's like now when I really get my foot in the water, people are gonna be like, yo, this dude is a pro. Like, where was he getting this at? But it's from the refinement that I'm getting now, right? And I was thinking about just this offer of just the indecisive to influential, and I was just pondering all the things that I was talking about and the double-mindedness, and I was really just thinking about the fact about how it's really, and when I say it's a miracle, you know, I always will emphasize that, but it really is a miracle because, bro, when I tell you, I did not expect to go this route, right? And then on top of that, being able to be blessed with someone of your caliber to teach me these things, bro, by the time I'm teaching these people, it's as if I'm gonna be teaching from like your veteranness. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna be telling them stuff that you telling me. They go like, yo, where is he? You know, so and I was thinking about how God literally has to prepare you because he don't play about his people, you don't play about his assignment, and you don't play about his kingdom advancement, right? So I'm thinking about the preparation, and I'm just like, you can't rush it, right? There's no piece of the preparation you can't rush, or else you're gonna get there. And then what he needs you to steward, you're gonna fumble it because why? You rushed the preparation process. So I'm in a season right now where like it's like I'm learning how to enjoy the preparation. I think like I was talking to God and I was just thinking about how, you know, we want to be a star and not willing to go through star training, right? It's like your favorite celebrity tells you, come work with me, and then you got to do all their work. And you're like, oh yeah, no, I'm not doing all this. So then you don't want to be like that then, right? So I'm just realizing that now that, you know, what I pray to God about, he's like, okay, let's see how much preparing you're willing to do. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just grateful that I'm here being able to get this refinement.
Here's the thing, bro. There's so much I got to say about this. The first thing I'm gonna tell you is this: when you get there, it's either gonna reveal you or expose you.
Yeah.
When you get there, it's either gonna reveal you or expose you. So everything you look, it's all everything we praying for is already done.
Yeah.
The question is, did you prepare yourself for the thing he has prepared for you? And when you get there, you either gonna be revealed or exposed. So that's the first thing. The second thing is this, bro. I thought about you the other night. At 23 right now, you're gonna be a problem.
Hey, appreciate it.
Listen to me. By the time you 25, you are going. By the time you 25, 30, you're gonna be a problem. So to your point, fall in love with the process. Because I got to tell myself at 41 that I got to still fall in love with the process and the preparation. If I got to be honest, it's the thing I've been praying about most over the last couple of weeks because I haven't had this. Normally, I have like this obsession for like learning at all times, right? And literally I was having this conversation with my wife this morning before I went out and ran, and she like, babe, you need a break, you know what I mean? And I'm like, maybe that's it. I'm like, but the last couple of weeks I just haven't had this obsession to learn like I normally do. Like I've been watching stuff, but it's been like felt like work as opposed to like this hunger, like, oh, let me lock in. I need to stay in the module. And she was laughing at me because I was telling her I was listening to this leadership training with Dr. Miles Monroe yesterday while I was working out. And she was just looking at me and I said, yeah, you're right. Who listens to a 1 hour leadership training Dr. Miles Monroe while they're doing legs? You know what I'm saying? Normally you're doing legs, you're trying to distract yourself from the fact that you're doing leg day, not listening to a leadership. So I beat myself up a lot. My point is this though. It's nothing more liberating. And I love to hear from the people that's on here that's watching. There's nothing more liberating, bro, than to get in front of a group of people and to see your preparation pay off in ways that you didn't even know you were prepared to do. There's nothing better than that. And on the flip side of that, there's also nothing worse than being in front of a group of people and figuring out that you wasn't prepared as you thought you were. One of them is a high that I can't even explain. The other is a low that I can't explain.
Mm.
So your superpower is everything people don't get to see. Your superpower is the stuff that you do in your quiet time that nobody tells you to do. Your superpower is when you wake up every day and you tell you what you need to learn. When you don't need somebody to tap you on your shoulder and remind you of what's important today. When you don't need to have somebody tell you what chapter you need to read today. When you don't have somebody tell you what subject and topic and lesson that you're supposed to get today. When you create that for you, that's your superpower, bro.
Mm.
And that's what separates the Kobe's from the Nobies. Is that. The ones that got to be told what to do and what to say and what to prepare, they in trouble, bro. And so if you can fall in love with what happens in the dark, what we do in the dark has to come to light, bro. The challenge is tapping into the fruits of the spirit to be able to maintain that level of patience during that process while you wait for the promotion. It's the patience through the process while you wait for the promotion.
It's good. So
and everything is perfect in his time. We don't, and when I rush it, I'm in trouble, bro.
facts.
Trust me. Trust me. I spent the first 30 some years of my life rushing it. Sowing and reaping is a principle. So you'll get the harvest. You put enough seed in the ground, you get some harvest. But if it ain't on his time, that harvest don't come with all his intangibles. Try being rich and miserable on for size. Been there, done that, got the trophy. Try thinking you make $1 million and that's gonna solve everything, and then it just reveals even more of the problem. And you still looking for cheap counterfeit and drinking more and trying to anesthetize and retail therapy and all the rest of it. It's like, no, you can't fix that emptiness. It wasn't time yet. So the beauty is you got time on your side, one. And secondly, bro, by God's grace, your raw talent is already such that what it is.
Mm.
If you take the time to just work on stewarding that gift and refining it, I'm telling you, you're gonna be a problem. I just really started taking this stuff serious 6 years ago when I quit drinking at 35. So imagine my 6 years and imagine you right now at 23.
Mm.
You understand what I'm saying, bro?
Yeah.
Like I see this in living color in terms of what your potential is as long as you stay doing the things you're doing right now, seeking wise counsel. You're doing everything you're supposed to be doing. You're implementing from the things that you're being educated on. You iterating and you coming back asking questions. You're taking advantage, and it's not me breaking my elbow to pat myself on the back, but you're taking advantage of a key resource that people pay and still don't do what I tell them.
Mm.
I done seen people pay $40,000 and not even show up for the event. I'm like, I don't understand this.
Man.
And so, I know I went off on a tangent.
Nah, B. Hey, listen, bro. I needed it because listen, you don't even know how much you really just spoke to literally the season that I'm in, bro. Like, God got me sitting down, preparation, refinement, training. Simple. Don't go nowhere until he say you're done training. And the training never stopped. So he's like, until you done here, you're not moving, bro. Because, right, one thing I was studying this morning, I was studying when Paul said that he wants to become one with him, right? I was studying that and I'm like, there's an obsession you have to even want to get to that point. So I was like, I need to wake up every day with an obsession to be one with him and the greatest version of myself, or else everything will be a burden. I'm reading a book about rebuilding on the Nehemiah Code, and it takes the book of Nehemiah and breaks down how to rebuild. And he's like, if there's no passion and brokenness in your rebuilding, it will be another burden on top of all your unfinished dreams. So I refuse to not move with that passion, with that conviction of, bro, I don't know another 23-year-old that's getting this. Like, I don't. I was talking to my friend the other day. I was like, yo, I don't know another 23-year-old my age that's getting mentored by the likes of the person that I'm getting mentored by. I don't, like, tell me, and then I'll agree. But I haven't seen it, right?
And
So
it's not just that they're not getting this; they wouldn't get this. It's not just that they're not getting this; they wouldn't get this. This is what I'm trying to tell you. God has graced you with a capacity to even understand the stuff that I'm giving you right now.
mm,
The tool is only as good as the hands that you put them in.
man, when I tell you, bro, you just spoke to everything that I'm going through right now. Is complete obsession with being the greatest version of myself, bro.
You
Real,
can't
like,
lose, man. You would never lose in life if that's your goal every day. You would never lose in life if that's your goal every day.
yeah,
Now, the yardstick by which success is measured in the things that we're distracted by and the things that play with our psyche on a daily every time we open up this phone and we open up our door and we go outside and all the rest of it may tell you different. But if that's the yardstick by which you measure your success, then you're going to outperform 99% people of the world.
yeah, bro.
I see it, bro. Trust me when I tell you. Like, I done been around the block, and I'm serious, bro. I just
Yeah,
te-
bro.
I text my consultant earlier, and I was like, bro, do you really realize how narrow the path is that we walk
Mm,
in comparison to what everybody else is doing? I look around and I'm just baffled at the things that make the internet blow up and the things that people are like celebrating. It was a 9-year-old girl, looked to be blindfolded as her dad is putting bullets in her hand and she's naming what the bullets are based on touch. And then while still blindfolded, he got her breaking down all these various pistols. And Neo posted on his page, and everybody like in the uproar, like, "Oh my God, I got to get my daughter some training." I'm like, "Have y'all really raised a child? You think this is appropriate for a 9-year-old girl? Like that's like what are we doing?" And this thing going viral. Oh man, bro been real for a long time because it's Derek Grace, the guy with all the tattoos on. Bro been
mm,
real for a long time. Yada yada yada. I'm like, and to each his own. That's how you want to raise your children, fine. But it's just the fact that people sensationalize over the most ignorant stuff, bro. It makes no
100%.
sense. And if you're not getting up every day to be obsessed about the race that you're running, then you'll look to your left and your right and you will become discouraged as a result of seeing what's winning and thinking that you're doing something wrong.
Man. Oh my
But then
goodness.
you have to be reminded, you got to be reminded that we in this world, not of it. But when your promotion come from him, it's nothing or nobody that can stop it. The, but he also knows, because of everything aforementioned, that you have to be prepared in such a way with such a solidified foundation to be able to
Mhm.
withstand all of what's going to come when he promotes you,
Yeah,
because he knows what you up against.
man.
See,
And
Laquana said she saw it. Shelly said she saw it. He said, "Who's more prepared for life?"
yeah,
Not the 9-year-old that can identify bullets blindfolded
yeah,
and break down pistols. Like, what are we talking about?
yeah, yeah. And even to add to your point,
And by the way,
yeah.
when she took the thing off her face, look miserable, bro. Look miserable, bro. Miserable. And it's the stuff we celebrate. And it's just I sent it to my consultant. I'm like, bro, am I tripping? He texted me back and said, What did I just watch? I said, okay, all right. Sometimes you got to talk to the same people just to make sure you ain't lost your sanity. I'm like,
Man,
maybe you know what? Maybe B just be tripping. B always, he always got a word. He always, everything's so serious. Maybe I'm tripping.
you
But I
not
know
big.
one thing, I ain't gonna ask a fool if I'm tripping. I'm gonna ask my man if I'm tripping. You copy? It's okay to think you
Copy.
tripping from time to time, but it's not okay to ask a fool that though.
Man, because to add to that, man, there's so many times where I'm like, it's like I see how much God has graced me and blessed me that it's like, I'm like, am I crazy? Like to have all of this, to know that God, like just this burden, this burning passion that God's gonna do something big in my life. And I'm like, yo, is anybody else going through this or this is just me? Like I'd be really in my room like obsessing over greatness, not even greatness in a sense of being known, in a sense of impact, right? Because there's a difference. You could be known and have no impact. I don't want to just be known with no impact on anything. I'm like, yo, I want to change the world. Like if God created the world, I want to take it over. He said, have dominion. So that's exactly what I want to do, right? And I was just thinking as I was doing this offer, and it said, and one thing that download that I got is God can do more with your surrendered yes than your strategic maybe. So
Mm-hmm.
you trying to make plans with your maybe. He's like, bro, just say yes. And that yes will take you, that your obedience will open doors hustle could never. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I'm at in the season of my life where I'm like, I'm going through this pruning. Bro, my upstairs is a library of books, right? Like I don't play games. I don't even. I bought a PS5. I had to return it because it didn't even feel right. Because I'm like, what am I doing? Like this isn't gonna get me to where I want to get to playing games of other people who made it. Like I'm only like it doesn't make sense. So for me, I'm like, am I crazy thinking like this, or is God really trying to do something? And I just had to say, like, listen, you're not crazy. This is just what greatness looks like. You have to do what the people that do it ordinary or extraordinary is doing the ordinary, just more extra than they do. So I'm like, I need to live that lifestyle, even though it's not common in this generation, right? I'll be on social media seeing just all these dumb stuff going viral, lustful stuff going viral, getting lit going viral. And I'm sitting here seeing your content, seeing the content that I'm trying to help our generation. I'm like, yo, this doesn't blow up because we're not entertaining them. We
Mm-hmm.
educating them. And
Mm-hmm.
entertainment in this world will always be education, which is something I will never understand.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, like I gotta ask other people, am I tripping? So you just confirmed for me that I'm not crazy. Because I'll be in my room, be going crazy about being great, like going crazy, making sure that I'm just not another one of the statistics. When I was talking about last week, I don't want to be a part of trauma. Like you said, there's so many people who are under you learning from you right now who are not taking what you're even doing. Dropping content on content on content, dropping gems on gems on gems, serving like no tomorrow, right? And that's one of the things that the enemy uses to make us shrink from our calling. And that's what I'm learning, that regardless of who receives it, my yes isn't just for me, right? And that's what I'm grateful for you, because like I was saying in the B&B community, like, yo, I'm seeing how you're stewarding your assignment and your gift, because I need to learn how to steward it, bro. Because I'll be sitting in my room like, Lord, I feel so crazy. I feel like a mad scientist in my room trying to take over the world. Like, I really want this. This isn't something that just happened like yesterday. No, like this is something I've been plotting and planning on and praying for and fasting for and crying over. Like my birthday this past year, I cried so I could become the answer. That was my birthday wish. It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't money or fame or none of that. I was like, Lord, make me an answer. That's my wish. If you don't do anything in my lifetime, you need to make me an answer. I don't care what else you do. Just make me an answer. So that's why I'm grateful that I could talk to someone with the likes of you to know I'm not crazy about where the Lord is taking me. Because there's times, bro, where I'll be sitting in my room like, Lord, this process, man, this preparation is different. But those people who are getting lit and entertained, they don't got to prepare for that.
Bro, look, let me tell you something. Not only are you not crazy, but watch this. But we also not special. God no respecter of person. The only difference with us is we choose to surrender and yield to what he's trying to do in our lives while others running away from it.
Mm,
That same feeling that you got right now 10 other people next to you should have that same feeling if they were only aware of what God was trying to do in their life instead of what they trying to do in their life. You get the anointing when you uncover it. But we got it so pushed down and suppressed, and while we so distracted and putting on camouflage every day, we missing the point. We missing the point, bro. And the thing that the thing that I kept hearing resonate as you were speaking was the harvest is plenty and the workers are few.
Man.
That's the reality of it. And so if you're gonna walk this walk, you better be ready. Because the harvest is plenty and the workers are few. But it's worth it though. It's nothing else that I can see doing with my life now that I've given it completely to him.
100%.
Cause I already been rich and miserable. So I already know that ain't the play. I'm like, yeah, I could go and do X, Y, Z. Yeah, but I still ain't gonna have the I'm never gonna have the level of fulfillment that he intends for me to have until I do what he intends for me to do.
Man.
So you're on the right track, bro. You're on the right track.
I appreciate that, B. You don't know how much I be needing to hear sometimes. Like, bro, am I crazy doing this? But
yeah, hey. I mean, I think it was Candace that posted on her social the other day where she was talking about David. He was anointed at 15, bro. He ain't become king until like 31 or something. So imagine being anointed, know you're gonna be king, and then it's like go back there. Him tending to the sheep was his preparation party. You think he wasn't frustrated? If you go watch the House of David, you know, like, Buddy was tripping. you know what I'm saying? Back there with them sheep when he know that his adversaries out there that he felt like he was inclined to prepare to go and tackle. But God, like, it ain't your time yet. The most frustrating thing for a visionary is to see the vision, but then not know when they're going to get there. Because you can't unsee what you saw.
Facts.
You can't unsee what you saw. You've been pregnant with a vision, and you can't unsee what you saw. But you just don't know when you're going to actually give birth. Here's what I do know. You're going to give birth because it's already done.
Yeah.
The vision was the end of it. What you saw was the end of it. So it's already done. The question is who you going to be when you get there. You know how many people been begging, praying, waiting for a big opportunity, and then they keep enduring today for tomorrow, and then tomorrow actually come and they be like, what?
Yeah.
What we talking about?
Yeah.
Enduring today for tomorrow instead of maximizing today in preparation for tomorrow.
100%. 100%. And even just to the last point, and then we'll pivot back to
yeah. We're gonna get this off. That's
the easy part. Yeah, that's the easy part. That's why I ain't tripping. But to pivot, to make this last point, I was studying Philippians 3:8 the other day, and it was talking about everything else is worthless compared to the infinite value of knowing Christ, right? And I was thinking, I was like, okay, so he's never gonna run out. So every day there's something new to learn. So I always, and I'm not in it to beat my competition. I just know I'll pass them as long as I always seek his infiniteness. He's always got something new to teach me, always something new to learn. Like I wake up like, all right, what's next? Like, cause I grew up being told I was dumb. Now I'm talking to probably you smarter than all the people that told me I was dumb. So I'm like, who's like, not to obviously rub it in their face and not in no prideful manner, but now who's actually dumb? Because when I was saying it, you called me stupid. And I'm talking to people who are like, nah, you're not dumb. This is exactly what you should be doing. So I wake up now with that desire and hunger, like, okay, he's infinite. What do I not know? Because thinking you know everything is the biggest form of pride. And I remember Darius was like, don't let what you do know get in the way of what you don't know. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of stuff that I do know, but there's a lot of life that I don't know, right? And in Second Corinthians, he was saying that my power works best in weakness. So if I'm not weak, his power ain't gonna work. So that's why I'm like, I have to stay in this state of weakness so his power can work. Because if I don't, I'm gonna be self-reliant, and the only person that can sustain my dream is me. Right? God don't got no, he, like you said, he got no respecters of persons. So that's why I'm really like focusing on remaining in a state of humility and weakness so he can move. Because it's not about me, right? There's somebody else that's gonna watch this and be like, oh, whatever yes Pray said to his life is making me want to say yes to mine, right? And that's all that matters, is making sure the kingdom gets advanced. But yeah, I just wanted to add that last point.
And I'll submit this to you, right? Because it's something that,
Yeah,
you know, I'm big on language.
come on.
I don't think that you need to remain in a steady state of weakness.
Mm,
I think you need to remain in a steady state of meekness. The meek is having the strength, but having the humility not to use it.
mm,
The meek shall inherit the earth. The scripture about his strength is found perfect in our weakness is to remind us in our broken state that it's okay to be there. That in that state is actually when he gets to flourish. And there'll be seasons and periods in time for that through your preparation. So while you in this preparation zone, yes, there are gonna be times where you're gonna be deflated, you ain't gonna want to get out the bed, you're gonna be feeling less than, you're gonna be feeling like ain't none of this working, you're gonna be feeling like all of that. And that's a reminder of his strength is found perfect in my weakness. Okay,
mm.
cool. So I need to stop depending on how I feel and start asking him to change how I feel. But then I need to get to a place in business where I'm shrewd as a serpent and wise as a dove, and gentle as a dove, right? Shrewd as a serpent and gentle as a dove. So we're it's always this. If you really surrender, you're gonna go through all of these cycles,
Yeah.
and at every level, it's a new cycle. It's just the way that he designed it, right? And then we got to also understand that the enemy got to get in line to even ask God to do anything to us, which means that God is only allowing what happens to us for what he's trying to do through us. So our problems are even designed for us. And you better be grateful to yours, because you look at somebody else's, you in trouble.
100%.
All right, I'm done with discernment. All right, let's go. We're gonna get presence
All
figure offer. We're gonna get these good people out of here.
All right. So for my 4 stages, stage number 1
By
is
the way, y'all with us? Is y'all still on here? Y'all want this heat?
he said he done with the sermon. You
Okay.
funny B. You funny B.
All right.
Yeah, so for the first I'm gonna just name the 4 stages. So first stage is the double-minded framework. So I'm exposing what double-mindedness is, and deepening and pressing into that. The second stage is the hidden cost framework. So I'm exposing what it's costing you to live in that state of indecisiveness. And then the third stage is the made mindset blueprint. And that is where I start establishing what you benefit from in making your mind up and having one master. And then the last stage is the mastery mindset system, where I explain a system of what happens when you master, you give all your mindset, all your yes, and all your focus to one master, which is your assignment, your calling, and what you've been burdened to do. So those are my 4 stages for that.
Okay. Can I make a recommendation?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So when you think of frameworks, right?
Yeah.
By the time you positioning your offer, you want to always illustrate to them what the payoff is going to be.
Mm,
You always want to future pace them beyond the problem. You talk about the problem upstream, you talk about only the solutions downstream. So your offer is downstream of all the stuff that they did, whether they found your content, went through a webinar, whatever. You at the offer now. The offer should only speak to answering their problems.
mm,
So the double-minded framework just needs to be overcoming double-minded, right? Or whatever. It needs to show them, it needs to be a word picture that describes the aftermath, not what they're dealing with.
okay.
Does that make
Gotcha.
sense?
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. Got you for sure. Because I could change that easy, like you said, like overcoming double-mindedness framework or something along those lines.
Exactly. You just
Yeah.
want to future pace them beyond the problem.
Okay. Yeah, I could definitely do that. Yeah. So then I just only got to fix the first two because the first two was the double-minded framework and then the hidden cost framework. So I'll just change both of those, and then yeah, it would be good for that. But yeah, I wanted to just get more of your opinion on what you thought.
But maybe the hidden cost framework is a double entendre.
Yeah.
You could be revealing to them the hidden cost that they're right that
Yeah.
they're missing out on, as opposed to instead of flipping it on his head from a negative perspective.
Mm, that's good.
You know what I mean? It's a double entendre, so
Yeah.
you could really create the narrative either way on that.
Okay. So I'm gonna just fix that first one. The overcoming double-mindedness framework. That's what I named that. So yeah, man. And I was just gonna cause even in my content now, right? First things first, that last week's call, bro, about the conviction based content, bro. Every single video I've done so far has been conviction based, bro. I don't even gotta think about it, right?
Mm,
And before it
good.
took me some time to go through it, right? I'll be like, I'll record and then, all right, let me do another take, record and let me do another take, bro. I'm not even one take out of there. Like literally one take out of there. And with this offer now, it's giving me like I'm literally convicted about this offer,
Hmm.
right? Because it's literally something I've dealt with. I still sometimes deal with, and I have to always remind myself, like, yo, we can't be back and forth with your appetite and your assignment. You'll never complete your assignment fully, right? So this convicts me to where when I'm talking about it in my content, it's
Hmm.
like he's convicted, right? It's not no,
Good.
hey, so if you want to change, do these three things. It's like, yo, if you escape this double-mindedness,
Yeah.
right? You
Yeah.
know, because before that's how my content was. Like I said, it was some.
I don't.
It,
So, and I didn't. I get. I didn't get to say this to you during the last call, but I want to say this to you now since you brought it back up. Your giftedness is such that other people will have to wear the glasses to see what you and I are talking about.
mm-hmm. That's so good. Wow.
You brought it back because it was tugging at me after we got off the call, and it escaped me. But I'm glad you brought it back up. So that's what I'm saying, bro.
That's crazy that
You
you
just
said
got to
that.
stay in the gym shooting jumpers. Nobody knew that your form changed.
Mm.
They just seeing the ball go in. But you know you're gonna have better longevity and better consistency on that jumper because you didn't tuck that elbow in a little bit more. It's the
This,
good, great conversation.
this why I need a mentor, y'all. That's crazy because, bro, only you would be able, like I said, to discern that. Like people, when I tell people, like I'm, and you use the perfect word, gifted, to where you don't even know what form or what how polished the gift I'm. This could be raw, this could be polished, this could be suppressed, like, but either way I'm using my gift to a different capacity, and people would never discern that. So when people are like, oh my god, you're so outgoing, I'm like, this is like 20%.
Hmm.
Like I'm like, you haven't seen 50 or 100. I don't even think people really like you. One of the first people that's seeing the 100%, the all, like just let it loose, right? I can't hide the gifts no more, right?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
mind you, the first person to see it, but you're the only person to discern that. To be like, you got to put glasses on and realize, okay, like he has more conviction in him, or he got a better framework of teaching it, like, you know. But not everybody can discern that. So I'm grateful you even said that, because I be feeling like I'm crazy. I'm like, y'all not seeing this, but like you said, only people would have to put glasses on to really discern that, because my content was before, it wasn't no gut punch like the content you just recently posted, where you was talking about how when you get off your shift and they trying to invite you to happy hour. I'm like, that's what you call a gut punch, right? That's why I
Hmm.
said that. But that's the content that I wanted to produce. I want to give you that feeling, right? So that's why, you know, I wanted to, making this shift in the offer also helped me make a shift in content. So now every
Good.
time I talk about it, I'm convicted. It's not like I gotta be like, all right, Lord, what do you want me to talk about today? I'm already convicted about the offer that I'm presenting. So that's why I'm grateful I made this shift, because I was talking about confidence, but I wasn't convicted about confidence,
Hmm.
right? So that's why I feel like the difference shifted. I talked about double-mindedness, and I'm like, yo, this is why you're where you're at, because you're feeding your appetite, and now you hating your assignment. if you feed your appetite, you always gonna hate your assignment, right? So now I can be more convicted about that because that's what I just broke out of and
Mm-hmm.
continuously fight every day. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, now the last thing that I would just ask is I remember you told me the last time to create like 4 or 5 videos of each pillar. So that's what I'm doing right now, right?
Right.
So I'm doing that, getting that out. So my only other question is because I have my PDFs being created, and all of the automation is being created as well. Now my most main thing that I've been just pondering on is the marketing,
Mm-hmm.
right? I'm always thinking, how do I market? Best ways to market. So now that I have my offer and the PDFs are being created, what would be your advice before we get out of here or whatever to really market it well, right? To signal the people that I want. And like you said, to come up with that list. So now I'm gonna be able to signal to people, but I want to really just go all in with this marketing right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel
Mm-hmm.
like everything else is aligning and the last thing I need is marketing, right? So I just wanted to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, so like the Ten Commandments piece, right? The
Yeah.
PDF, like that framework we talked about.
Yeah.
So basically, in every piece of content, you should have a CTA.
Okay.
Whether that be comment below, share this with a friend, tag a friend below, um, DM me the word, or click the link in my bio to get my free download. Click the link in my bio to book a call on my for a free 15-minute consult, right? So, and the reason behind that is because you want to make sure that you're you're getting them in a habit that when they interact with when they encounter your content, that there's an interaction point in your content.
Mm,
So it's the same way when you're in a sales environment, right? I was teaching this inside of our Purpose to Profits Accelerator yesterday. When you presenting an opportunity for somebody to buy something, you have to create buying energy,
mm,
right? Because they got to
yeah.
take action. They got to do something, right? They got to
Yeah.
click a button. They got to put it in a credit. They got to do something. So a lot of people make the mistake at during a presentation, they'll just talk at the people the whole time, right? And the people may feel inspired. They may even feel like intellectually fed or stimulated. But then you get to the end and you make your offer, and people been in this lethargic, disconnected state
Mm,
to where when you make the offer, they got to get out of inertia and create momentum to then go do the thing that you're offering, as opposed to you creating the momentum and getting
mm.
them out of inertia all through the process. So when you create a consistent cadence in your content of having them take some type of action, then they're so accustomed to taking action that although this one may cost them, their muscle memory is already there. Every time Prey is supposed to tell me to do something. This time he just so happened to told me to go buy his course. So let me go to his landing page to see what it's about.
Mm. That's good.
So it's different. It's different expressions, but it's the same concept.
Mm,
If I'm presenting in a live audience, it's gonna be call and response, right? Because by the end of it, when I make my offer, I want them to respond to the thing I just called about. If I'm on
mm.
a webinar, type this in the chat, type that in the chat, type it, because when I put this link in the chat, I want you to click this link and do whatever you need to do next.
That's so good. That's
Bro,
crazy
listen, listen,
because
listen to me, man.
what?
This is why people don't make money online because they don't know.
Man, that's so good, bro. I was literally running through practicing my webinar and I kept making sure I'm like, oh, comment this in the chat. I'm like, say next if you know this is for you. Like getting in that habit of doing that, not even knowing you was just gonna break the psychology down of it, bro. So yeah, bro. You
It's
you one of them
listen,
ones.
listen to me, bro.
You one of them ones.
People buy things for one reason and one reason only, because they feel like it. So everything is psychological
Mm,
in human nature, because people will only behave consistently in what they believe.
yeah.
So if you're not consciously aware of that or too lazy as an influencer, communicator, business person to take the time to understand that about the people that you're trying to get to do something with you, then you just a fool in business.
Mm.
And is it uncomfortable? Absolutely. But I promise you, it's less uncomfortable than making an offer and nobody taking it. So I'm gonna get you to comment below. You know what I'm saying? That's way less uncomfortable of an ask than a slate over some presentation for an hour and put it out there, and it's like, is this thing working? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's working. It's working all right. It just ain't working for you at the moment. Yeah, it's working all right. No, they
Yeah,
got it. You just ain't get it.
man. Nah, that's strong, bro. Yeah, I needed that because, mind you, I'm super clear right now. Every like, bro, when I tell you, and this is for everybody listening right now, it's the outcome sounds great until the road to get there got all the rubble, all the debris, all
Believe
of
me.
that. You gotta clear the road, bro. Cause now that I've cleared the road, I'm like, oh, bet. Like now I can run. Like when it says right division plane so they can run, it's like I'm getting ready to run, bro. Because these things are like, now I got the offer I want to present, got the PDF that I want to do, and I'm just gonna run it into the ground. And with the double-mindedness offer, I could do 4 weeks. Then I could dive deeper into double-mindedness. 6 weeks, dive deeper. 8 weeks, dive deeper. 12 until I run that into the ground, right?
By the
And
way,
there's
can I make one more recommendation?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
The double mindedness. I love the language. In your content though, front facing, you may have to give different illustrations of what that means.
yeah,
Because if people not in the book, and even for those that are, they ain't really deep in the scripture. You
yeah,
know, they know the bumper sticker ones. So you start talking that language of double mindedness, many not gonna get that.
yeah,
So you have to do illustrations like, have you ever tried walking forward and backwards at the same time?
mm,
Like try that right now. Like I want you to try walking forward and backwards right now. How does that? You see how you do the same? You gotta help people to see it
yeah,
in a different
yeah,
frame.
yeah. That's good. That's good.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like I want to make sure that this really hits home when you communicating with your folks.
yeah. That's
So
good. Because
that's
I
what.
was just my first one that I did, I was like, you want a pendulum of just greatness
That's
and
still too
comfort.
smart. People ain't that smart, bro.
I know,
You,
bro.
you you know
I
what I mean? Like
I be
I'm just
trying
being
not
honest.
to sometimes, B.
That's still too.
I be trying not to, B. I be trying. I'm gonna do better though. I be trying though,
Yeah.
because I'm just in my mind, like, because mind you,
Seriously though, bro, people scrolling, they hear pendulum, they out of there. They like,
yeah, I
it's too,
know,
it's
I
too
know,
much.
yeah,
You know what I mean? It's
yeah,
too
bro.
much.
Because it's like, mind you, and people seeing me not thinking they gonna hear pendulum come out of my mouth, right? So
Mm-mm,
they expect
mm-mm.
they expected for me to say something like, "Hey, if you want to change, believe in yourself." Like,
That,
no,
that's that's
bro.
what that's why I gave you the example.
Yeah,
Try to walk forward and backwards at the same time. They're like, what? What does he mean? Walk forward and backwards at the same time.
yeah,
That's just the world we live in, bro. Now when you are training,
yeah,
right? Then you could expand your vernacular a little bit, you know what I
yeah,
mean, and tap into some of your nomenclature and all that good stuff. And
yeah,
but front facing with your content, you got to dumb that all the way down, bro.
yeah. And I'm grateful you even
And,
said
and, and
that.
even even for those of y'all that's on here, like in y'all bios, you got to clean that up. If you got all them fancy handles in your bio, don't nobody understand what that means. I promise you they don't. If they don't get a clear understanding of what exactly you do, how you help them, and in what time frame, I'm just telling you, it's gonna be very hard to get them to buy from you.
Mm,
It's got to be clear, bro. You look at my bio, it say I help coaches, consultants, and experts grow their businesses to 6 and 7 figures in 12 months. That's what I do. Now, am I faith based? Yes. Do I need to say that? No, because above it says uh,
Colossians 3:23.
Colossians 3:23.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So we try to give everybody too much context. It's like no, have context clues. That's why they're
yeah,
called that, context clues. But you need to be very clear with the content of who you are and how you help them. Why should they care? They don't care about all the stuff.
mm,
It's confusing to people.
mm,
One of our students, Alex, right? One of our clients. He he teaches marketing. I'm using his words, right? He teaches marketing agencies how to make more money. Super simplified, right? Sound oversimplified. So he come into the program in 30 days, he make $105,000 on in a day on one challenge. Okay. Then he texts me on what's today? Thursday. He texts me Tuesday. He just upsold one of his clients on a $75,000 offer.
Man.
Right? He had hit me last week and he was like, "Hey, I got this offer. It was like 85,000. So you know me, psychology. I said you either need to make the number 100 or drop it to 75 or make it 85 with a discount to 75." He was like, "I'm just curious, why would you say that?" So I broke down the psychology of all of it. So he made the offer at 75, the guy took it. So he just made $75,000 on one offer this week. He texted me before I got on here. He doing his second challenge now. He already at like 70,000 and it was still early. He about to have another 100K day. So within 60 some days of being on our program, he would have made close to $300,000.
Man.
Why? Because he do what we suggest. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Simplify everything. Simplify your header. Simplify your way you describe yourself. Simplify your offer. Make it very clear to the people that you help how you gonna help them. Make it very clear to the people how they get to pay it. I'm just telling you, bro, it just worked. You know what I mean? It ain't just because we like that brilliant. Well, I mean, pretty good, but it's just that principles work. And if you work them, they work for you. You
Yeah.
work against them, they don't. And I know some will be like, "Dang, he made $300,000 in 60 days." Man, I ain't made. It's like I get it, but the distance between what you have and what you don't is what you don't know and what you're unwilling to do.
Mm.
The distance between what you have and what you don't is what you don't know and what you're unwilling to do. If you know some new stuff, learn some new stuff, and willing to apply that new stuff, your life will forever change, and the people around you will forever be changed as a result. But most people just they to your point, they fall in love with the familiar. You got to be married to the mission and date the methods.
Say that again,
You got to
please.
be married to the mission and date the methods.
Mm.
The methods are interchangeable, but the mission got to remain the same. People say stuff they just don't believe, bro. They say things that sound right, that sound ambitious, but they don't believe it. That's why they don't do nothing about it.
Yeah. Man, they're strong, bro. So now to even ask for me, mine is I help aspiring entrepreneurs transition from the 9 to 5 into full-time entrepreneurs. How long should I say that for? As long as my transformation is like I want to simplify all of that now that we talking about it.
That's a solid frame. What you
Okay.
just said. That's a solid frame. I'm not mad at whatever you put on the end of that. Just don't make it too long. Like what you just said, I help aspiring entrepreneurs leave their 9 to 5 and transition into full-time entrepreneurship, making that will be a next good pivot.
Okay.
Tens of thousands of dollars, whatever that number is, based on your avatar.
Yeah.
If they pivot into full, I mean, I just say Alex made $300,000 in 60 days. You know what I'm saying? That's a pretty good soundbite. So whatever that is, right? And I wouldn't use him necessarily as the standard,
Yeah.
but he is empirical. That's real numbers, right? But we certainly, I mean, if anybody come in and use our framework, they'll start making tens of thousands, if not six figures a month. It just works.
100%, bro.
So figure out what that is for your people, and bro, I mean, let's just be honest for a second.
Let's
Okay.
be honest.
Aspiring business owner transition into a business owner. Okay. Any kind of business owner. If you ain't making at least, and I'm gonna be careful when I say this, but if you ain't making $10,000 a month, you in trouble.
Mm.
Right? So I think it would be pretty safe to say that the people who work with you that go from indecisive to influential, as their likeness increases and their confidence increases, and as a result of all those things, it should put them in position to at least make five figures a month. How many five figures is what? One, two. What's 5,000? That's four figures. I only see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
four figures. 10,000 is
Okay.
five. Yeah,
Right. So they should be able to make 4 to 5 figures, 4 to 5 figures a month.
yeah.
Probably figuring out a better way of saying that. That just sound crazy coming out of my mouth, but it may not be nothing wrong with that though. You know what I mean? It's just 4 figures sound crazy to me. You know what I mean? Like I'm just being honest, bro. It just sound kind of wild though.
Hey, that's when you know hey, there's some levels you just ain't never gonna touch again, man.
It's yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But all I'm saying, all my point is right. Figure out what you can help them get consistent. If it's 4 to 5 figures, I mean that's cool because here's the reality. If you can help somebody get to a point where they're making 50 to 100,000 in a business, that's worth $5,000 to them, which could be the price of your offer.
Mm, it's good. It's good. Yeah.
I mean, if somebody pay us $30,000 to make 300, that's pretty good math. Yes or yes, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, you help somebody make 50, $100,000, and you charge them 5 grand to do it, bro. That's everybody wins.
Yeah, bro. I'm ready to run this play, man. You got me ready to go. Cause all I gotta do lastly is really make these webinar slides and then it's time to promote, you
Bro,
know?
listen to me. You, yes, yes. So the next thing we'll be talking about is the sales psychology through the whole webinar process.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Because once you get that locked in, you gonna bro. I just yeah, this is gonna be fun. This is gonna be
Yeah.
fun. Anybody got any questions? I know I got a hard stop. Um, I got to hop to an orientation call at 3:30. Anybody got any questions before we skate? Anybody? Anybody? Was this helpful for you guys?
Yeah. Uh Shelly said, does Alex do ads and how does Alex obtain his students or clients?
So this was really crazy. He ain't ran an ad yet. So it's cost him no money other than what he paid to come into the program to make close to $300,000 as of this afternoon.
Man.
He been doing it all organic. Why? Because he posts content. Imagine that concept. He posts clear content to signal to his avatar as to what it is that he does and add value to their life daily. He sold 50 challenge tickets. His challenge, I believe, is 197 or 297. So he made ten to $15,000 just on the challenge ticket. He
My
was he somebody hit him up because they saw him on social media. Was like, man, I love for you to come speak to my community. So he hit me last week. He like, bro, I need to do a webinar. I ain't never did a webinar. I said, okay, cool. Email the office and just tell them to give you one of my old webinars and just watch it. And then just take it and like replicate it to match your offer. He did it. He got on there, sold 5 tickets. I said, was the webinar helpful? He said, bro, I took everything you did, I modified it to my offer, and that was it. Bro, one of the biggest challenges for most people is getting out of their own way.
mm,
Getting out of their own way. The reason why I've been successful, one of the biggest reasons I've been successful, is when I pay people, I listen, and I do whatever they tell me to do. It's uncomfortable and it don't matter, bro. That's bad stewardship. God gave me the money to pay you. I paid you, and then I'm gonna still think to do it my way.
mm.
I must be some kind of fool. Here's the other part of that though. How can I ever hold somebody accountable to their system don't work if I don't work their system? How can I halfway do what you showed me to do, then tell you it didn't work? So I gotta run the play.
I'm gonna run the play, B.
Oh, I know you gonna run the play. That I
I'm
ain't worried about.
yeah, I'm running the play.
Yeah,
I'm running the play to what?
yeah.
I'm excited to run the play, but I'm also being patient to run it as well. You know,
Mm-hmm.
making
You
sure
right
I
where
got
you right.
all.
You right where you truck, bro. You are eons ahead of where most would be in this short period of time.
Mm,
Yeah, you gonna go back, refine those couple pieces we talked about, and then the next time we meet next Thursday, which y'all should be here, we're gonna be talking about marketing and sales. It's time to turn the money printer on.
yes, sir.
You got your business bank account set up, right? You know what I'm saying? You want to make sure you get that in order. Yeah, that's next.
Yeah,
Payment
I'm.
portal.
Hey,
You know what I mean?
hey, that's the next thing I'm doing next week. So I'm gonna get that set up because yeah, I got everything. I got the webinar framework you gave me. I'm creating the slides. Got the PDF almost done. Got the offer set up.
Oh,
So
I gave you the webinar framework.
yeah, you gave me the webinar framework.
Oh, beautiful. Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
bro. I'm just revamping it to the indecisive, the influential offer.
Just run the play.
Yeah,
Just
bro.
run the play.
Yeah, bro. I'm
Yeah.
copying the same thing, and I was re-listening because I recorded every day the purpose to profit. So I'll be re-listening to how you guys engaged, to how
Mm-hmm.
you guys made relatable, all that stuff. So I was listening. I was like, okay. Then when I was running my webinar through the reps, I was practicing the same thing.
Mm.
Practicing the same thing, bro. So yeah, I'm doing film work for real because when we run the play, we scoring a touchdown.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
You
yeah,
feel me?
yeah.
So yeah, man.
And it's so interesting that you're doing that because I mean, I would say 95% of the stuff that's said and done is all intentional, which is crazy though. To talk at that volume and have that much of it have that level of intentionality is wild. But it's skill, it's nuance, it's understanding, it's all those things. And so I'm just telling you, bro, what you just said. When Alex had his first 100K day, we had an interview with him, David and I, and we was like, so what was the biggest thing for you? He was like, I literally took everything y'all said and did exactly that.
Mm,
Like I just changed out the words here and there to match. He's like, and I watched the recording of the challenge, and I just modeled what y'all did. No iteration. So
yeah, and we could run through it next week, making sure that it's all good.
oh yeah,
So
yeah, we will.
yeah,
We
yes,
will.
sir.
All right, y'all. Until next time. By the way, we got a challenge coming up. June 2nd. Purpose2profitschallenge.com. If you want to stop being stuck, it's $17 for general admission and $47 VIP. I mean, I don't. That's the end of this conversation. God bless y'all, man. Praise. I'll see you next week, bro.
Yes, sir.
All right.